It's been almost a month since I graduated high school and moved out of home to embark on the journey that my new life had to hold. The weeks leading up to the big move was full of anticipation, excitement and frustration, wanting my life as a quote-unquote adult to begin. Saying some final goodbyes and see you laters to people and places that I had spent the last 17 years of my life with. The people that had seen me at my best and at my worst. The ones in which I'd spent some of my most treasured moments with. Handing in last assignments, finishing final exams, and saying thank you to the teachers who have helped to pull you through the last few years. Our whole lives have led up to this moment. Ever since we were little, we had dreamed about finally growing up, escaping the four walls of our classrooms and never having to look back. And here we are. This is where it ends, after 13 years. For some of us, maybe more, but we made it. As we walk out of the graduation hall with our certificates in hand, surrounded by the community that have watched you grow for all of these years, we can't help but feel an overwhelming sense of pride and happiness, although tainted with sadness and fear. Leaving behind everything that has been familiar to us and jumping into a life that we have no idea where it's going to take us. Waking up the next morning at 5 a.m, packing whatever clothes I could find to move into my apartment, and better yet, into my new life. Spending the first night in my own room in my new apartment felt like I was on top of the world. This was the humble beginnings of everything that my life could become. The next week was spent celebrating the end of school with a group of my friends. In the honeymoon stage, if you will. I didn't think it had fully sunk in that school is over. After this week, no longer am I going to see these people every day, or be just around the corner from them. As I drop my friends off at the train station at the end of the week to go back to their hometown, while I go back to my apartment, for the first time all week, the realization of my impending solitude washed over me. Not even a few moments later, I was in a car accident. No one was hurt, thank God. But as I sat outside Karori train station, my car in pieces, with family and friends hours away, the loneliness really began to set in. What had I gotten myself into? In a place where I knew next to no one, and where my car was everything that I had to rely on at this point. I felt scared, afraid, and isolated in this new place I was supposed to call home. Going back and forth between the Sunshine Coast and my hometown certainly didn't sit up there on my top 10 list of fun things to do over the summer. Hours upon hours spent sitting on public transport, listening to screaming babies and tuning into conversations of some very interesting characters, to say the least. Contemplating the green pastures, the grazing cows and the broccoli mountains as the train passed on by, with the sounds of Paul Kelly in my ears, pretending as if there was background music to my real life. Feeling so small in such a big place can be a hard emotion to process at times. The stress of trying to figure it all out on your own and doing things for the first time without the wisdom, knowledge and support that once was so easily available to us from our friends and family. Smiling at strangers, wondering if they will be someone that you may soon come to know, or just another forgotten face. Introducing yourself to everyone you meet becomes a ritualized task, having a short spiel ready to spin off when the moment arises. In such a period of desolation and forlorn, there is, however, growth and new light. As each day becomes a bit more familiar, where handshakes become conversations and conversations become new friends, where doing things on your own and learning to take care of your mind, body and soul are lessons that only you can teach yourself. We must realise that this stage we are in, leaving school, losing touch with friends, and trying to figure out your own direction, is all preliminary and temporary. That all of this sadness, craziness and confusion won't last forever. That as we discover our paths, we will discover ourselves and where we are truly meant to be, and what purpose we serve. We must remember that we all have so much to learn from this world, from every person we encounter, and every situation we come across. There is so much out there to see and discover, much of which is unbeknownst to us as of this very moment in time. As the sun's shadow shifts, so there is no permanence on earth. Take the next step, continue to move forward, as our growth is only stunted by staying in the same familiar place we've always known. Go forth, be bold, and take heart, for we have limited time, and not a precious moment to waste.